Even death is to be feared by one who has lived wisely. Buddha. The Buddha's insight that chaos is inherent in all compounded things. Strive on with diligence speaks to the core Buddhist concept of impermanence, known in Pali as anicca. This concept suggests that all conditioned phenomena, things that are formed by a combination of conditions and components, are inherently unstable and subject to change or dissolution. The word chaos in this context refers to the unpredictable and ever-changing nature of the material world, including our experiences and perceptions. The Buddha taught that because nothing is permanent, attempting to hold on to any aspect of the phenomenal world leads to suffering, *dukkha*. However, the second part of the quote, "Strive on with diligence," is an exhortation to continue the practice of the Buddhist path despite the ever-changing nature of reality. Diligence here refers to the persistent effort required to cultivate the Noble Eightfold Path, which includes right understanding, right thought, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration. In essence, this quote is a reminder to remain vigilant in one's practice of mindfulness and ethical conduct, to acknowledge the nature of existence without becoming attached to it, and to persist in one's spiritual journey toward enlightenment despite the inherent instability of worldly phenomena. Chaos is inherent in all compounded things. Strive on with diligence. Buddha. The Buddha's assertion that chaos is inherent in all compounded things recognizes the fundamental Buddhist concept of impermanence, anicca. Compounded things, or sankharas, are transient by their very nature, subject to the entropy that governs all forms of existence. This impermanence is a source of chaos, as what is constructed must inevitably disassemble. Thus, life, composed of fleeting moments and entities, is intrinsically unstable. However, within this recognition lies the call for action: strive on with diligence. This is a directive for persistent effort, viriya, in one's spiritual practice, emphasizing the cultivation of mindfulness and wisdom to navigate life's inherent instability. It suggests that while we cannot control the chaotic nature of existence, we can master our responses to it, reducing suffering by not clinging to the temporary. The lesson is one of active engagement with life's uncertainties, using them as catalysts for growth and understanding, rather than passively succumbing to their disruptive potential.
Click subscribe to this channel to get more valuable quotes from the legends.
I never see what has been done, I only see what remains to be done. Buddha. The quote, "I never see what has been done, I only see what remains to be done," is often attributed to the Buddha, but its authenticity is not verifiable in the canonical texts. Regardless, it exemplifies an attitude of continuous effort and the importance of focusing on the present and future work rather than resting on past achievements. In a Buddhist context, this sentiment can be interpreted as a reminder to maintain a sense of purpose and not to become complacent. The spiritual path is ongoing, and enlightenment is not a single moment of achievement, but a constant process of growth and understanding. It emphasizes the importance of diligence and mindfulness, as there is always more to learn and more progress to be made in the practice of Dharma. The underlying insight is a universal principle of humility and perpetual self-improvement. It encourages an outward-looking perspective, continually seeking ways to contribute positively and cultivate one's virtues. It's a call to action, urging individuals to engage with the work still required, both within themselves and in the world around them. Better than worshiping gods is obedience to the laws of righteousness. Buddha. The statement "better than worshiping gods is obedience to the laws of righteousness" speaks to the heart of Buddhist ethical philosophy. Buddhism emphasizes ethical conduct and personal responsibility over ritualistic devotion. The laws of righteousness, or Dharma, in Buddhism refer to the teachings of the Buddha, which outline the path to enlightenment and the cessation of suffering. This sentiment prioritizes moral action and the cultivation of virtues such as compassion, loving-kindness, and wisdom. It suggests that true spiritual progress comes from living a life aligned with ethical principles rather than through the external act of worship alone. The central insight is that enlightenment and the betterment of one's character are achieved through one's own efforts in living a righteous life. This reflects the Buddhist belief in self-effort, adhikara, and the transformative power of following the Noble Eightfold Path, which guides one's actions, speech, and thoughts toward ultimate liberation, nibbana. The lesson here emphasizes the importance of personal ethics as the foundation for spiritual development, suggesting that adherence to moral laws is the highest form of spiritual practice. It's a call to internalize and live by the principles of righteousness, which surpasses the mere act of worship as a means to spiritual fulfillment. Better than 1,000 hollow words is one word that brings peace. Buddha. The statement "better than worshiping gods is obedience to the laws of righteousness" speaks to the heart of Buddhist ethical philosophy. Buddhism emphasizes ethical conduct and personal responsibility over ritualistic devotion. The laws of righteousness, or Dharma, in Buddhism refer to the teachings of the Buddha, which outline the path to enlightenment and the cessation of suffering. This sentiment prioritizes moral action and the cultivation of virtues such as compassion, loving-kindness, and wisdom. It suggests that true spiritual progress comes from living a life aligned with ethical principles rather than through the external act of worship alone. The central insight is that enlightenment and the betterment of one's character are achieved through one's own efforts in living a righteous life. This reflects the Buddhist belief in self-effort, adhikara, and the transformative power of following the Noble Eightfold Path, which guides one's actions, speech, and thoughts toward ultimate liberation, nibbana. The lesson here emphasizes the importance of personal ethics as the foundation for spiritual development, suggesting that adherence to moral laws is the highest form of spiritual practice. It's a call to internalize and live by the principles of righteousness, which surpasses the mere act of worship as a means to spiritual fulfillment. To be idle is a short road to death, and to be diligent is a way of life. Foolish people are idle, wise people are diligent. Buddha: the foot feels the foot when it feels the ground. Buddha. The quotes from Buddha encapsulate the principles of action versus inaction and awareness through experience. The first quote contrasts idleness with diligence, suggesting that a lack of purposeful action leads to stagnation or metaphorical death, whereas consistent effort breeds vitality and is intrinsic to a meaningful life. It implies that wisdom is demonstrated through industrious behavior, while folly is associated with inactivity. The second quote speaks to the importance of direct experience for genuine understanding. It metaphorically states that true sensation or awareness, like the foot's recognition of the ground, comes from direct contact with reality. In essence, these teachings encourage an active engagement with life's journey and a mindfulness that comes from first-hand experience. The underlying insight is the advocacy for a life of purpose and engagement, where wisdom is gained through the practice of attentive participation in the world. The lesson is that a fulfilling existence is characterized by both action and awareness. Work out your own salvation. Do not depend on others. Buddha. This quote from Buddha underscores the principle of self-reliance in the pursuit of spiritual liberation. It emphasizes the importance of personal responsibility and effort in the journey towards enlightenment. The statement suggests that while teachers and guides can provide direction, the work of understanding and transformation cannot be outsourced. Each individual must engage in their own inner work, as salvation or enlightenment is a personal endeavor that must be actualized through one's own actions and insights. The lesson here is a call to personal empowerment and accountability. It's a reminder that while support and advice from others can be valuable, ultimate growth and liberation come from an inner journey that each person must undertake for themselves. This can be applied not only to spiritual pursuits, but also to personal development and growth in other areas of life. In a controversy, the instant we feel anger, we have already ceased striving for the truth and have begun striving for ourselves. Buddha. This quote from Buddha highlights the detrimental impact of anger on the pursuit of truth within a dispute. Anger, a strong emotional reaction, often signals a shift from a collaborative quest for understanding to a defensive and egocentric battle. When anger enters the equation, it can cloud judgment, reduce the ability to empathize, and compromise the quality of dialogue. The focus turns from resolving the controversy through objective facts and rational discourse to defending personal positions and winning the argument at all costs. The underlying insight here is that truth-seeking requires a level of detachment from personal investment and emotional reactivity. To truly strive for truth, one must maintain composure, openness, and a willingness to consider multiple perspectives without the interference of ego. The lesson is clear: in any debate or conflict, maintaining a calm and centered disposition is essential for discerning the truth. This calls for emotional regulation and a deep commitment to understanding over self-interest. It's a reminder that the path to truth is obstructed by personal pride and that humility is a crucial component of clear thinking. He who walks in the Eightfold Noble Path with unswerving determination is sure to reach nirvana. Buddha. The Eightfold Noble Path is a central tenet of Buddhist philosophy, offering a framework towards the cessation of suffering and the achievement of nirvana. This path encompasses 8 aspects: right understanding, right intent, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration. Buddha's statement asserts that steadfast commitment to these principles assures attainment of nirvana, a state of liberation from suffering and the cycle of rebirth. This assurance underscores the importance of consistent and dedicated practice. Each element of the path is interconnected, fostering ethical conduct, mental discipline, and wisdom. The path is not merely philosophical, it demands practical application in daily life. The lesson here illustrates the power of perseverance aligned with a structured method for spiritual progress. It is a testament to the belief that disciplined effort directed towards a noble purpose leads to profound transformation and ultimate peace. This can be extrapolated to any disciplined pursuit of a worthy goal, emphasizing the importance of unwavering determination and integrity in the journey. He who gives away shall have real gain. He who subdues himself shall be free, he shall cease to be a slave of passions. The righteous man casts off evil, and by rooting out lust, bitterness, and illusion do we reach nirvana. Buddha. Buddha's teachings here reflect the core principles of selflessness, self-control, and purification as paths to liberation. The idea that one who gives away will have real gain challenges materialistic perspectives, promoting generosity as a means to spiritual wealth. This act of giving is not limited to material possessions, but extends to forgiveness, kindness, and wisdom, intangible gifts with profound value. Self-subjugation, the control of one's impulses and desires, is equated with freedom. It is a paradoxical concept where true liberty is found through discipline, not indulgence. By overcoming the slavery of passions, one achieves a state of peace and self-mastery. Casting off evil and rooting out the three poisons, lust, bitterness, often translated as ill will or anger, and illusion, ignorance, is the process of ethical purification that leads to nirvana. This process is not passive, it is an active, conscious endeavor to live righteously. The overarching lesson is that genuine contentment and liberation arise from within through ethical living, self-discipline, and mental clarity. The path to nirvana is inward, requiring a transformation of the self that transcends the immediate gratification of sensual desires and confronts the root causes of suffering. Let my skin and sinews and bones dry up, together with all the flesh and blood of my body. I welcome it. But I will not move from this spot until I have attained the supreme and final wisdom. Buddha. This declaration, often attributed to Buddha during his intense period of meditation before enlightenment, reflects extraordinary resolve and commitment to spiritual awakening. By rhetorically expressing willingness to let his physical body deteriorate in the pursuit of wisdom, Buddha conveys the depth of his dedication to achieving a state of supreme understanding, or nirvana, even at the expense of his own physical well-being. This statement exemplifies the profound level of sacrifice and determination that Buddha believed was necessary to transcend the ordinary limits of human existence and experience. It underscores a key theme in Buddhist thought, the notion that the mind and spiritual progress are paramount, and that physical hardships or ascetic practices can be instrumental in the pursuit of higher knowledge. The lesson here is about the magnitude of resolve required for profound transformation. It suggests that spiritual enlightenment, or significant personal growth, is not attained through half-hearted efforts. Instead, it is the product of unwavering dedication and the willingness to endure challenges, reinforcing the idea that the path to true wisdom is arduous and demands complete commitment. He who loves 50 people has 50 woes. He who loves no one has no woes. Buddha. This saying attributed to Buddha touches on the nature of attachment and its relationship to suffering. In Buddhist philosophy, attachment is often seen as a source of suffering because it ties individuals to impermanent things, leading to inevitable pain when those things change or are lost. The quote suggests that the more individuals we love, the more vulnerable we are to experiencing sorrow, as each loved one is a potential source of woes due to the impermanence of life and relationships. Conversely, by loving no one, a person theoretically shields themselves from such emotional turmoil. However, the teaching is not advocating for a life devoid of love or relationships, but rather pointing towards an understanding of the nature of attachment and its consequences. It encourages a balance where love is tempered with the wisdom of non-attachment, meaning one should love deeply but with the awareness that all things are transient. The profound lesson is not to withdraw from loving relationships, but to cultivate a form of love free from clinging, one that appreciates the present and accepts the fluidity of life. Such an approach to love can lead to a more equanimous state of being, mitigating suffering while still engaging in deep, meaningful connections.